Hello everyone and welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program, Rise of the Dark Fog. And in today's episode, we will be getting into some planetary exploration. My plan today is to get off onto one of the other planets to get the titanium that we need. Also, maybe even bring back a little bit of silicon if we can. So the idea is to get off our home planet here and get on to one of the other two planetoids. Now, the one over here, Eta Opus 1? I don't know. Anyways, it's in between me and the dark fog, and it has lots of dark fog on it. It has 4 total things on it. Now, as far as I understand, this is probably the better one to go at, but I don't really want to deal with 4 dark fog. So we're going to go over to Eta Opus 4. I doubt it's Pupus, but whatever. Anyways, it only has 2 dark fog on it, and it also has 2 things that we want: the silicon ore and the titanium ore. So the idea is to shoot off onto this planet, but before we do that, we want to make sure that we have enough stuff to get ourselves ready to fend off any attacks that might come. But before we go, I do want to knock out a few science things. There's quite a bit of science that we haven't been getting because, we haven't really needed it. But one of the things we're gonna need is the titanium smelting, so we need to definitely get that one. I'd also like to get vertical construction, that way we can stack our depots on top of each other. And then last probably but not least, we'll get some distribution range for our distributors of things. And last but not least, some vein utilization. That way we can maximize everything that we can, a little bit less loss of ore per mining and so on and so forth. So those will be the main things that we get going, and then we just need to prepare ourselves with all the things that are probably going to be necessary to start up power over there and get our mining going and smelting as well as defense. We definitely need to think about defense, but we've been producing quite a bit of these missiles and things of that nature, so I think we'll have plenty of missiles. It'll just probably take about a dozen trips to get everything we need over there. But before we do all of that, I'd like to do a little bit of chip processor manufacturing. So we want to make some processors because we're needing them from time to time, and we can just make a few and let it kind of go in the background while we fly to and from that planet. But to do that, we're going to need the circuit boards and the microcrystalline components. Now, the microcrystalline needs the silica, the high purity silica, and we've already made lots of circuit boards, so that's not going to be a problem. And I believe that we can just make it right here at this place with its, little bit of manufacturing that we've got going on here. Shouldn't be too hard to wiggle a line down here and just make those processors right here. So I'm pretty sure that we could probably just put one of those logistic things on top of here and have the circuit boards coming to and fro, but we're going to need to put down some other assemblers to make our microcrystalline components. So I think I can do all of that right here. It shouldn't be too bad. And then, so we'll have the depot right here, and we'll just have it to getting the circuit boards from the place over there. So I think it should be pretty easy. And, if it makes a couple hundred of them while we're doing other things, that's fine. This isn't a permanent thing because we are going to need to import all that silica, and I need to just make sure that we have some going because I really want to get into the planetary logistics. I think that that's really the next thing for us to try to get to, and to do that, we're going to need the processors to make the drones. So that's just kind of its own little thing there. So let me get something real simple put here, and I'll show you what it looks like. Like I said, not going to be hard, not going to be bad. So there we go, not that difficult. We got our microcrystalline circuit component thingies being made here, and then they will go directly into the processors. So they'll come around and just go directly in. I've just got them pulling it straight off this line, so as they make them, they go directly into the processor. This is probably way too much, but whatever, it's all right, not a big deal. So we have our silicon here, and then all we have to do is hook up that, but I had a bunch of extra and I wanted to get rid of it, so we'll get rid of it here. And then I've got drones bringing in over all the copper ingots. So all that's left is hooking it up. and letting it rip. So all of those guys will be just pulling off what they need, manufacturing those, and the processors will get made in the background. Drop that on this line and boom, we're done. This isn't permanent by all means. Like I said, as I'm flying back and forth between the two planets, I'll probably be just checking in on this just to see if and when it's all good. So yeah, circuit boards are going to come out on this one. So all we have to do is hook that up to there. Maybe we'll do 2 of them just to make sure they come out at a reasonably good rate. And there you go. Golden processors getting manufactured. There it is. It's pretty. It's our first one. I love it. It's not our first one because we handcrafted a bunch of them, but you know, it is what it is. Handcrafting's for rookies. So the next thing we need to do before we blast off is just kind of get ourselves a little prepared for defense on this new planet. Now I have quite a few missile turrets and some missiles here already, but they've got plenty more on the other side. Now, one of the things that we need to think about is our fuel source when we get there and the fuel source to get to the planet. Now, energetic graphene is probably the best because it stacks up to 100 and it's a really good fuel source for the beginning of the game. When you get more into late game stuff, there's probably better stuff, but the fact that it collects up to 100 and all that jazz, it's kind of the best thing. So we can just come here and just collect a whole bunch of this and have it in our inventory and all that. So I'll collect up a bunch of that. And then at the same time, we need to make sure that we have all of the missiles that we can carry after we get a good amount of manufacturers, mining machines, smelters, and so on and so forth. I don't think we're going to need any manufacturers. It's really just going to be smelting. So I'll make sure I have plenty of smelters, lots of belts, sorters, and storage depots, because that's really what we need. All right, so I think we're about as ready as we're ever going to be. I've got quite a bit of stuff, nice amount of belts, a nice amount of smelters and sorters, and full stacks of everything I could think of. I'm even bringing the logistic box with these. I don't really think I'll need them, but you never know, just in case the nodes are really far apart. I also did some research in the background and got signal towers. As I was looking at things for defensive wise, these things kind of find the dark fog and recognize them and alert all of the turrets and things that you have to fire all at once to hit those guys. So I feel like we really need that. So that's something definitely we're going to test out and see how it works. The other thing was the battlefield analysis base. So this thing helps with building and gathering supplies, I think. But you also need the prototype drones to do those. Now, precision drones, of course, are the next thing in line, but we're more worried about this. And I did some testing in the background with them, and it will build and it will repair everything as far as I understand. So yeah, we're ready to blast off. We've got a little bit of fuel in the tank and we are ready to go. As you can see, our orbital sync is actually not very good right now. The hive is kind of in between us, but we'll do our best to avoid it the best that we can. But here we go. We are blasting off into space. Oh yeah. So flying in space is kind of not very difficult, but it's not very easy either. It took me a while to kind of figure out how to fly in space. The shift button allows you to accelerate. So I'm going at a cruising speed now of 106 meters a second, I'm guessing. And it gives you an ETA time. So it tells you about how long it's gonna take me to get there. So we're just under 3 minutes. Pushing the forward button lines you up to where your crosshairs are, but it doesn't seem to land you on the planet well. So you kind of have to slow down before you get there. Now, I always try my best to accelerate as fast as I can. 10,000 meters a second is the fastest that I can go. And it takes a long time to get to here. It takes a very long time. It's the farthest we could go. Oh, there's 1,000 meters a second. I'm so sorry. But it does use gravity. So as I got closer to the sun, it definitely got me going faster all by itself, and I didn't have to do it. And as I'm pulling away, if I let go of the shift button, you can see that my cruising speed is going down. So the sun is pulling on me. It gives you a target distance. You can kind of rotate and fly in a circles and do all kinds of things, but I just like to stay straight, fly right, get to the planet. So we're nearing our approach, and I'm going to slow ourselves down a little bit because I don't want to miss the planet. And like I said, aiming for this is just not very easy. So you just kind of got to center it in, slow it down a bit. As you can see, even though I'm centered in on this, it does seem to want to go to the right. I think I might have to work on my alignment. But here we go, landing on our planet, and boom, we did it. All right, here we are. Milestone reached, universe exploration, having traveled the distance of 5.599 AUs. All right, we landed on the planet. Well, fantastic. That's a really good milestone. I like that. Now, here we are on this obviously frozen tundra. There seems to be some rocks here. Okay, so that's stone, just stone. There's our good friend, the dark fog. Now, we have iron veins. We have all kinds of stuff here. Fire ice. What is fire ice? I haven't even seen that. Maybe that's something we use in the future. But anyways, I don't even know what that is. All right, so according to the wiki, as long as we don't build any power, they will not come after us until the power is up and running. So I guess what we need to do is kind of look at the planet as a whole. We really want to find a place that has silicone and titanium kind of close together. I don't know, kind of like right here. Yeah, this won't be bad. I can work with this. So we could have a nice beefy base right here. What are we gonna do for power though? We have a coal vein that's way over there, but they'll attack that first. Is there any other coal? Are we gonna do wind power? Oh my gosh, do you know how many wind things I'm gonna need? I have this kind of idea of how I wanna do it, and hopefully it won't be too hard to defend. All right, so I maximized as much as I could possibly get into this titanium here, getting, you know, a good amount of miners there. And then I'm trying to do the same thing over here, just kind of tucking them all into each other as close as I can get to get as maximum out of this. Again, this is just going to play off in the background and do its thing. And then I kind of set up this basic smelting array here. I think it would be a reasonable amount, and I put 2 boxes at the end. I have no idea how much this is going to do, so I'm gonna just kind of copy paste this across here and just let it do its thing. I want to try to get everything in, so I'll copy one, paste it into this. I don't know how many of these we need. I mean, a few. I don't know. I mean, it could be a whole lot. It could be very little. I imagine I can probably get away with that much of it. But anyways, as a side note, I found out what the fire ice does. It actually is good for the mech. We can use it for power, which I didn't know. So I kind of think it replaces the coal. So if I fly here, it's gonna burn through that. Now it burns it pretty quick, like coal. So that's obviously going to be our power source. Now, how would we set that up? I don't know. I'm thinking a whole bunch of generators, like right over here. We could just do a few lines of them. I don't exactly know how many I need, but we could line them all up here and just have power shooting right across. Now, the next thing is our weapons. So I've given it some thought, and I think I mean, we're going to be attacked from this side. So both of the dark fog is going to be coming from over here, but I still want to surround the entire base. So the idea is that we have a line of belts that go all the way around twice. So I'm thinking that if we just grab our belts and we have them maybe start like here, and we just have the belts going all the way around the base and ending in this kind of in the same spot, we'll be able to have our defense lay around this. So like we'll say this is for the turrets, and so we can just start plopping turrets down wherever we need. And then we'll do the same thing with a line for the missile turrets coming across here, and then we can plop all those on as well. Now we do still have that signal tower, which I'll probably put like right out front somewhere, way out there. That way they can catch them coming at us a little bit far sooner than later. And then the last thing that we have is going to be the battlefield analysis. So I want these guys out here because if they do collect resources, I kind of want them way out here in the front somewhere, maybe like so. I'm not sure, maybe actually probably farther back would be better. And they'll repair things too, so anything within, I don't know if it's the first range or the second range, they tend to repair. So yeah, I played with them a little bit. They were building for me, and I know that they repair as well, so we'll kind of play around with those and see what I can do. Now let me finish off the perimeter defense here, and then we'll get everything hooked up and powered on, and maybe we'll start cooking some silicon and titanium. All right, so our power generation is going. We've got ourselves some fire ice being harvested, and our threat is going up. So as soon as I put those windmills down, it started going up. Now we have that fire ice. It's actually not defended, so we may have to pool up some of this fire ice to make sure that, you know, we get some defense going on, some backup power supply. But this is the perimeter defense. I tried to put a turret close to or in front of every single one of the missile turrets, just in case we get something a little bit close. Now on this side, like I said, we're not probably going to get attacked from this side. We're probably going to be getting that full frontal attack. And I did decide to put the hangars back here, the battlefield analysis bases, kind of back. We may move that forward. I don't know. It feels like it should be more forward. As the signal tower, it doesn't really see too far out, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll go antagonize these guys a little bit. So the last thing we really need to do is get the windmills kind of sorted out, and that way we can get enough power to get these generators online, because as soon as the generators come online, then we'll be producing more than enough power. So I'm just going to kind of plop these around for now until these things really kick off and start generating our power. And there we go. Now that we've got that going, we can honestly just delete these. It was just to jumpstart the power situation. So, all right, so everything is being smelted. I just got to set the recipes, and that's it. All right, and now before I leave the planet, I want to make sure that our defense is good. I've added a few more turrets just because I'm paranoid, and a few other of the missile turrets as well. So I just want to see how good the signal tower is and how good our defense is against them. So we're just going to sit here and kind of wait for the dark fog to attack. All right, here they come. So let's see. Well, I think they're coming from the far base, not from the near one. Oh, no, it is the near one. So here it comes, our first wave. It only has 8 units. Oh my gosh, there they go. Oh, wow. So yeah, signal tower range better than I thought. So it got them when they were pretty close to being out here. That's pretty fantastic. Okay, and so the other one, it'll attack in a few minutes, but I think it's time to just take some of our materials that we have here back. I really need to start getting that titanium back. The titanium is what we needed to build all of the battlefield analysis bases and things of that nature. So, and we're going to need more rockets, because this is what's supposed to have the rockets, this is supposed to have the bullets, and as you can see, they're completely empty. Those trips back and forth to our planet, well, they're gonna be awful, because it takes forever, and it's gonna be a while. So I'll dump all of the materials that we have maybe over in this corner, because I know we're not going to be attacked over here. So I'll just kind of put some storage depots over there, gather up as much of the fire ice as we can, because that's the only fuel source that we got, and I'll just fly back and forth and leave these things here in case we want to do something with them in the future. I don't know if we will, but we might need them here for whatever reason. So I'm gonna fly back and forth, and that's just kind of it. Like, gather up the titanium, gather up a couple truckloads of this stuff, and yeah. I've not really been looking forward to this part. This seems like the part that's going to be the worst. And yeah, I'm going to need a lot of this fire ice.
One eternity later.
Oh, the journey was long, but we are done. Okay, so I've got the titanium kind of set up in this way that we're just going to have a whole bunch going into this big tower. And then if we need to have logistics and it needs to go somewhere, we can distribute this wherever we need it to go. So that is that. Oh man, that back and forth was awesome. It was so many trips just to get the silicon, to get everything that we wanted. Oh man, so now the next thing I really want to do is kind of get some of the science knocked out. So we have the planetary logistics now, and I want to get some drones made up because they take the golden processors, and I want some of the towers. So I think the next thing to do would be really get that kind of hashed out here. But to get that done, we're going to need quite a bit of things that we don't have yet. So to get the logistics towers, we need these particle containers. The particle containers need the electromagnetic turbines, copper ingots, and this graphene. And I have yet to even look at that because it needs the energetic graphite, which is easy because that's coal and done. But this sulfuric acid, and that requires a building that is the chemical plant. The chemical plant is pretty basic and easy for us to get started up on, and we'll probably throw that on our main bus because we have everything we need over there on the main bus. But that means we need to get into the old oil meme, and with this coal being right here, I feel like we could do a pretty decent setup to get what we need right here in this area. So yeah, we need to set up a whole nother oil thing, but I want to put lots of refineries because whatever we don't use as far as the hydrogen and the fuel source, I want to turn that stuff into power. Our power production, it was 180 something before, and now we're down to 152, and it's just because we're not burning up so many science cubes and things of that nature. So we really need to get this oil going so that we can get a whole lot more power created and kind of solve us for the very near future. Okay, so we're harvesting most of the oil that is in this area. So I went ahead and got that one, got that crude oil over there, and these as well. I put oil extractors on top of these over here and over there in case we ever needed it, but this is all merged together, making beautiful crude oil. It is what it is. So that is going to bring over all of the fuel that we need. So now we just got to figure out how we're going to do the chemical plants. So I need to make up a few of those. And then I think the chemical plants, I believe it's going to need water, stone, and refined oil to just make that sulfur. Oh boy. Okay, so I believe I can probably, we're going to need water. I think maybe putting those chemical plants right here where this water is. We haven't played around with water yet. If I put water here and then maybe a few chemical plants right down here, where am I going to get my stone from? Oh, right over here. So I could bring the stone across, bring the water down, and then the chemical plants here. The only bad thing is bringing that refined oil across and into this. It might look a little funny, but I'm sure we can wiggle it through here or around the top. But yeah, let me gather up the supplies we need and we'll kind of lay out a basic design. All right, so this is the basic design that I've got laid out. So we're going to start with just 5 of them and see how well that works. I've got my stone coming in from this side. I have my refined oil coming in from this side to go on this line. So the last thing to really hook up and kind of set up is the water. So I think it's pretty basic. I think we'll just kind of space these out a little bit. Maybe we'll start with 4 of them and see how well 4 goes. I'm not really sure how much comes out of this. Maybe we can get all 4 of them on one line. I don't know if that is a good amount. So it seems like I'm asking a lot of questions, but yeah, we'll kind of swing this around and go in like so. And then set up a little bit of some power to get these guys rocking and rolling. And I don't know, maybe that'll be enough. It doesn't seem to fill up that level 2 line. I mean, we've been building almost everything in level 2 lines, but I don't know how much water this particularly needs. So let's get one of these stone lines going and get it worked up over here. All right, now with our stone over here, we'll bring it up and over and in, and then we'll hook up the same side for the oil. And what we'll do is we will just set this up with, since this is the farthest one away, we'll go ahead and put the fastest one there that we can use. And if we need to, it's got 4 inputs, so we always could grab some more if we need it. And that one is already grabbing resources, so we'll go ahead and set up all of this and see how fast it outputs our stuff. All right, and there's our first sulfur. And we've got one of the storage tanks that does liquids. So as soon as this kind of backs up here, I just want to see how quickly it all comes out. I mean, is it too much for one line? Is it not enough? I think it's pumping out 4 per one. Wow, that's actually a lot. So we may be able to get away with just doing 1, but what I'll do is I'll copy paste this a few more times and just to have it set up here for future proofing. So yeah, man, it's really moving. Oh, we got a piece that's not upgraded. The next thing is these chemical plants here are the ones that are going to be making the graphene. So the graphene is going to come out of here and go into the particle things. So we've already set up the energetic graphene, pretty easy, we've done it before. So these guys are going to need the sulfuric acid and energetic graphene. So those are just 2 items that's going to come across this bus. And it should just be a nice, easy, short bus here. No biggie. And then let's go ahead and upgrade all of that and make sure that we're getting the maximum amount we can. We'll probably just merge all those into that. And then from there, what do we need for the particle things? So to make the particle containers, all we have to do is get some graphene, copper ingots, and the electromagnetic turbines. I believe we should be able to pull most of this stuff from our bus line. I think we can hook up one of these to a storage unit and bring that copper over. I think we already have it already, so that can start supplying that right here. So if we just throw down 2 of these and maybe put 2 of these on top of that, this one can start requesting the copper, so we can get the copper over here really quick. The next one, we'll have to request these and see if we can't get them as well. But I think we have to put a drone and drone port on top of that. Yeah, we should have enough to do it. So just pulling a little bit off of this, and we'll probably limit the supply in this to like 3 stacks of each. That way we're still making the things on the other side that we need. But then we'll just have those 3 lines come down and done. All right, so I think we're all ready. All we have to do is hook up and go. So we'll start with the graphenes and let them just start making all their stuff. They should kick on and start spinning their liquids there. It's gonna make it and it's gonna go across here. And then these guys are just gonna straight pick it up off of that line. And then it'll stop up about there and be done. Actually, we can shorten that up just a tick, just to make it nice and efficient. And yeah, so let's put that in there. Now, the last things that we need are going to be the copper, which we'll just have 2 of those coming out, and then we'll do the same here, putting 2 of those out, getting them out as fast as we can. And that should be our particle containers. And then once that's done, we can hand make maybe just one of Planetary Logistics stations. So yeah, we've got a few of them right now. All right, let's wait for 6 of them. Let's see what 6 does. And let's go ahead and handcraft a couple of those stations. All right, so we have a couple of those Planetary Logistics stations all crafted up. So we're gonna play around with this a little bit. We're gonna put one here and I don't know, one there. Those suckers are way bigger than I expected them to be. Wow. Okay. And I believe that we've handcrafted a few drones, and I don't know how many drones go in each one. So it can hold up to 50. Okay, great. So we'll put 50 drones in each of them once we get those crafted. Now what I want to try to do here is I'll have this one dump its materials, whatever. We're going to use this petroleum over here. I'll have it dump it back into this and just do some testing to see how many of these that we can do at once. So I think we should be able to do quite a bit, and hopefully it has a good transfer rate. Now I know it's like really close and it's kind of hard to judge that, but you know, hey, it's what we do. We judge everything. So we'll put that in like so, and we'll bring this up and over and in. Boom. And we'll start loading this sucker up with the petroleum, and it's going to be the supply. So we'll let that, can I just drop this that I have in there? Oh, good. So I can just drop what I have in there. Fantastic. And then we'll have this one spilling out its guts out. So this will be the demand for it. Do I have all my drones yet? Oh, I just need one more. The other thing it's going to need, I'm seeing, is power. So we may want to bring a bit of power over here just because it needs power to probably operate those drones. So it needs to charge the drones and all that stuff. Actually, speaking of power, oh boy, yikes. We might not be making enough power. That's going to be the next problem to fix, but we'll do some sciencing first. All right, so now that this is set up and it has quite a bit of stuff in there, let's ask for a demand. And oh my gosh, look at those things go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, that's a lot of them. So it sends it from the demand over to the supply at the same time as the supply is going into demand. Okay, and hey, we got Planetary Logistics. Yeah, we did refined oil, and it does 75 meters long. Great. That was fantastic. A new milestone. Okay, so it's almost out of the refined oil already. So what about how do I get things out of this one? So obviously it's got lots of ports, 3 on each side, so a total of 9. Press tab for the sorter to select what we want to come out. Okay, well that's handy, especially if you have more than one thing coming in there. And we'll just have that go back in there for now. We'll just do it out of all 3 of these. All right, it's coming out pretty fast, even though we don't even have this done yet. And it should just be going right back into this. I just want to see if it can keep up with like 3, 4, 6, 10 lines. How many can come out of this with the supply, and it still keeps some in here. Now I know we're still filling it with it, but once we get to a certain amount, we may just stop and see how many full lines it can produce out of it. So it's transferring 400, 450, 470. Wow, 500. Whoa, it's still going up. So let's wait and see what kind of numbers that we start getting here. Okay, so there's our first little hiccup in our supply. So we've got 6 lines coming into this thing now, but it only hiccups every once in a while. That's a lot that it can transfer. I mean, this thing is crossing the 1500, 1600 in transit. That is a lot of materials that it can transfer. So that's going to come in super duper handy. So yeah, I think that really means that the next course of action for us will be to probably mass produce the drones. So over here, I made a miniature layout of what it will take to make the drones. So each of these pieces represents how many of each thing we're going to need. So I think that we can make it over there where that logistics tower is, and we can use that logistics tower to kind of bring over the raw materials that we're going to need to make all this stuff. So I've got some extra copper over here, and I've got extra iron over there that we can use to bring that stuff over, because we're going to need the stone as well to make the silicon, because we don't have the planetary logistics just yet. And besides, doing that and trying to get by the hive without getting, you know, blasted when we're going this far, we may have to try to do some mining of stuff over here, but it has no silicon on that one. So I think that is our next thing that we are going to do. I think that we can start by making a whole bunch of these guys so that we can get a little bit better and a lot less mess. But the first thing on the agenda, yeah, it's going to be power, because power is not cutting it right now. We have a lot of our power production is down, and we're going to have to probably use the oil that we have over there to make more power. That has got to be the first thing on the agenda. So if you're excited about that, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it does help the channel out. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be alerted of any time any Dyson Sphere or any other content gets uploaded to the page. Hit one of the buttons on the end of the screen to see what else we've played, and don't forget to keep gaming for the love of games. Bye now.